Golden Dome defense shield. What is Trump's Golden Dome defense shield? President Trump has unveiled plans for his Golden Dome missile defense shield, in which American weapons would be deployed in space to intercept incoming missiles.
Today I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors.
The plans are an attempt for the US to keep up with evolving military threats from countries like Russia and China. Initial $25 billion has been set aside so far, which is only a fraction of the estimated $500 billion total cost, not to mention the estimated 20 years it would take to build. The system would be modelled on Israel's Iron Dome, which is used to intercept external attacks. But any similar shield used to defend a country the size of the US would have to be scaled up from this significantly. Critics, including some military experts, have said that a defense shield on this scale would be unworkable and too expensive. What is Trump's Golden Dome defense shield?
Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force. And here we are when the others said we didn't need it. Here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Gutlein leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir. Mr. President.
The Golden Dome will fail. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakwadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. The Golden Dome will fail. All right. End time prophecy tells us that Babylon will fall. And Babylon is being ruled by Esau Edom, all right, the so-called white man, all right. And according to end time prophecy, they will be ruling at the end of the age, all right. Okay, so let's go to open up with Second Esdras, chapter 11 and 39, which tells us that they would be the ruling empire at the end, and be the Roman Empire. Okay. All right. There was 4 major empires to rule the planet Earth. 4 major, and it was Babylonians, the Persians and the Medes, and the Greeks, which is the so-called white man, Esau Edom, and the Romans. And we're still in it to this very day. All right. Second Esdras 11 and 39. Art not thou it that remaineth of the 4 beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? Okay, so at the end of time, the Romans would be in power. They're the 4th beast in Daniel, okay, in the book of Daniel. All right. So when we go to Second Esdras 6 and 7, it tells us, all right, a vision of Esdras. All right. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so this is biblical prophecy. Okay, Esau would be ruling at the end of the world in the Roman Empire in Babylon the Great. Okay, a similitude of the Heavenly Father. Okay, all right, and let's get straight to the point. Okay, Obadiah chapter 1, and we'll go straight to verses 4. Okay, all right, Obadiah 1 and verses 4, and it reads, Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. And it's speaking of Esau, Edom. Okay, that's ruling the world today. Okay, at the end. Okay, as I pointed out, that he was going to bring them down, though they build their space stations. All right, in which that's what they're doing. They're building stations up in space with laser missiles attached to them or whatever. Okay, all right, in order to shoot down incoming hypersonic missiles. All right, because the hypersonic missile has to get a very high altitude up in order to come down on America, Babylon the Great. That's what the way it's designed. Okay, it reaches high altitude and it can fly long distances. All right, so they believe that they can stop this World War III. They can stop the prophecy. All right, but they're not going to be able to do it. The Bible clearly tells us that they will be destroyed. Okay, Isaiah 13 and 6. And it reads, Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Salakia. Let me read that again. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Okay. All right, let's go down to verses 19. Get to the point. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so it's telling you that they're not going to prevail. They're going to lose this World War III. Okay, all right. So let's go to Revelation. All right. Verses 12 and 7. All right, and this is what's going to go down. All right, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon representing the Roman Empire, the empire of the Edomites ruling today, the so-called white man. And the dragon fought and his angels. Okay, all right, because the Lord is going to have to, because of these missiles that are going to be shot, he's going to have to save his elect, the Israel, okay, from total absolute annihilation. Okay, so that's the reason why the Lord is going to have the angels show up at World War III. Okay, World War III Armageddon. Let's read that again. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon, okay, so they prevailed not. Okay, you see that? All right, let's read that again. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. All right, that'll be their military. All right, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Okay, in heavenly rulership. They're in power now. All right, this is their heaven. And the great dragon was cast out. All right, the empire of the Edomites are going to be cast out of rulership. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with them. Okay, so they're no longer going to be ruling. Okay, they're going to be cast out in the earth. Okay, their people are not going to be totally destroyed, because a lot of them that are outside of America, that are going to be in bunkers and so forth all around the world. I mean, because the missiles are not going to hit in all these lands. They're going to hit mainly here in Babylon the Great. All right. So if they're here, you know, any Edomites, the so-called white men and other nations are here, they're going to be destroyed. Okay. And the Lord is going to have to deliver his elect. All right. So here it plainly shows you that they're going to be cast out. Okay. Verse 9 again, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out in the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay. So their missile system is not going to work. Okay. Their future missile system, the Golden Dome, is not going to prevail. It's not going to work. All right. Okay. Because at the end, the other nations are going to be launching these missiles. All right. And Yahushua is also going to show up with the angels. All right. And they're going to lose this war. Okay. All right. Let's go to Revelation chapter 9. All right. And we'll go to verse 15. Revelation 9 and 15. This is describing the missiles. All right. Okay. What's going to happen? And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. All right. There's the sons of God, there's the children of men, and then there's the children of the wicked. There's the sons of the wicked, children of the wicked, or just say the wicked. Okay. That's how the Lord divides this thing up. Okay. There's the sons of God, there's the children of men, all right, the other nations, and there's the wicked in the Bible. Okay. The wicked being Esau, Edom. All right. All right. The so-called white man ruling the earth. All right. So they're the third part of men. So you see that? 1, 2, 3, if you can count. And the number, let me read that again. And the 4 angels were loose, and which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. That's 2 million. That's like 200. I think 200 million. Yeah. That's the number of missiles coming. Okay. All right. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's 20 million or whatever. That's a lot of missiles that the Lord is saying is coming. So they're not going to be able to, their dome is not going to be able to hold up. Okay. All right. Verse 17. And thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as heads of lions, and out of their mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was the third part of men killed, by the fire and the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents. This is what John saw. He saw the missiles go up, and from the tailpipe, it looked like a serpent to him. That's how he described it. Okay, all right, and the heads of lions. All right. Out of the lion's mouth issue fire and smoke and brimstone. Verse 17. That silo. When you silo, the silos that the missile is in, when it fires, it sounds like a lion before it launches. Okay, so that's what he heard. He actually heard that sound. Okay, all right. Okay, but anyway, let's go to 18 again. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Okay, so these are those missiles. Okay, and with the missiles come warheads. So the missile shoots up and then it drops warheads down. Okay, so it's not just one missile. Okay, and that's how you get to these so many missiles that are going to be shot. Okay, because the other nations are going to be shooting them all over the place. Okay, all right. So with that being said, they're going to be destroyed. All right, there's no getting away from it. 200 million missiles. All right, it's going to come down on Babylon the Great. So this is serious stuff. You need to repent, turn to the Lord. All right, and seek the Lord. All right, and leave off from pursuing this world. Okay, worldly affairs. Okay. Isaiah 34 and verses let's go to Isaiah 34 and get right to the point. We'll go to we'll go to verse 5. All right, this is talking about who the Lord is targeting. All right, that's particular people. Isaiah 34 and 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Okay, it will come down. The missiles are going to come down upon them. All right. Okay. All right. So you have to understand that they're not going to be able to withstand this. All right. Okay, the Golden Dome is not going to hold up. Put it that way. All right. It's being described here vividly. Okay. We'll start at 3. Let's go up to 3. All right. The Lord is speaking of the destruction that's going to come upon them. It says, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood, because the nuclear missiles are going to be used. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's that mushroom cloud that goes up into the air. Okay. All right. You've seen the nuclear explosion movies. Okay. And all their host, the host meaning the armies, shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Okay. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So it's a particular people that's cursed to judgment, and these are the Edomites. All right, the so-called white man. All right, and his seed line. All right. All right. So it doesn't. The Edomites, of course, if an Edomite, so-called white man, lays down with a so-called Israelite woman, all right, or say a dark-skinned Israelite woman, the child comes out like brown skin, right? That child is an Edomite because it's the seed of the father. The father was an Edomite, so the child is an Edomite. You see, that's how how it works. And she would be considered, she or he, the child, would be considered a tare. Okay, a tare. Okay, if you heard the parable of the wheat and the tare, okay, all right, that's a description of this. Okay, you wouldn't. Both of them look the same, but they're not the same. All right, because they're from a different nation. All right. If you can understand, your nation is through your father. Okay. If you can understand, it's a very simple thing. Okay. Only man bears the seed. You see? It's the seed of Israel. You see? Isaiah. Okay. Isaiah 34:6. Hopefully you understand that. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood, is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh has a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So wherever they pitch their tents at, the Lord is going to be targeting those areas. And basically it's going to be targeted automatically by the other nations, okay? Because it's going to be the allies versus the allies. People who side with Russia, be Russia, China, and Iran, okay? And of course, it's going to be America and whoever allies they have left. Okay, they seem to be alienating the allies at this point, but yeah, that's how it's going to go down. Okay, all of them going to launch. Okay, all right. Verse 7, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. And why is this going to happen? All right, it tells you here. The Lord set them up, okay, gave them the understanding of how to make these fantastic weapons, all right, just to arrive at this. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Okay, so the Lord is going to get them back for all the things they have done to the tribe of Judah, all right, and the 10 tribes, okay, all right, on this side over here in America and back in the ancient world, okay, the killing of the prophets, the murdering of Yahweh Shai, the disciples that were with him. Okay. All right. And so forth. Okay. So the Lord is going to get revengeance on them at the end. He raised them up to be the wicked in the earth. All right. And he allowed them to be the whooping stick on Israel for going off. All right. But the Lord is still going to bring judgment against them. All right. For doing so. Micah 2 and verses 1, and it's because of their wickedness, all right, what they have brought forth in the earth. Woe to them that devise iniquity, Micah 2 and 1, and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. Okay, they strip the tribe of Judah in Europe, okay, the so-called Moors, and the tribe of Judah was ruling over there, okay? All right. A lot of them had been in Islam, but they were still Israelites, okay, in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, okay? And they stripped them of their wealth. They put their children in servitude, all right? Parents murdered and so forth, shipped off, all right? And we know that they came to the land, to Negro land, and took the tribe of Judah from Negro land as well. And then also they also took the land of America as their own, okay, and murdered a lot of the 10 tribes, okay, who were Israelites from the northern kingdom. All right, so the Lord is saying, and they covet fields, verses 2, and take them by violence. That's what they do, in houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore, saith the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua, behold, against this family, he's talking about a particular family on the earth, all right, do I devise an evil. This evil is going to be the nuclear destruction, the missiles hitting them, all right, fire and brimstone, brought back all over again, like in Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, from which ye shall not remove your neck. So they're not going to be able to have a golden dome, no kind of defense. This thing is going down. The Lord is going to make sure that they are destroyed, all right. Neither shall ye go hardly, for this time is evil, Okay. All right. Let me read that again. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, behold, against this family, which will be the Idumeans, the Edomites, do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go hardly, for this time is evil. So it's the will of the Lord to bring judgment upon them, and they're not going to be able to remove their necks by setting them behind golden dome. All right. Okay. So the Lord has raised up the Medes, all right, okay, against them, the Russians, the Allied forces, Iran, China, okay, to come against America, Babylon the Great. All right. Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes, for the Lord has both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Because just as I read, they covet fields and take them by violence. Okay, that's a part of the reason why the Lord is going to bring judgment upon them. Okay, all right. Let's go to Sirach 10:8, and it tells you that. All right. It'll be Ecclesiastes 10:8, and it reads, all right. Because of unrighteous dealings, all right, they told everybody there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, but they blew the people up, killed 150,000, took the gold and the oil, all right. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, what happens? The kingdom is translated from one people to another. So it's going to be translated from Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, to the Israelites. They're going to be ruling as kings and priests in the earth. Okay? So there's not going to be no removing their necks from this, by having a golden dome set up. The Lord already has this in writing, okay, the scriptures, okay, and it's going to happen. All right. All right, so I guess I'll end. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll end with Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So no golden dome is going to save Babylon the Great. All right. Shalom.